Yes.
So, introduce yourself.
Okay, I'm looking at you, and I'm ready to the interview. My name is Sergei Lubimov. I'm working at the European Humanities University.
Hi, my name is Gabriela.
So my name is Deja.
Hi, I'm Alexandra Ratsaba, but I go by Sasha.
My name is Agata Lisiak. I'm Associate Professor of Migration Studies at Bard College Berlin.
My name's Jackie.
My name is Yerofey Daineka.
I'm Mikita Kotlinsky.
I'm Leonie.
My name is Jen Richter, and I'm an Associate Professor at Arizona State University.
And at the moment, I'm also doing the generator project.
Which of the things that we discussed is the most important to you in the context of energy, and why?
I would say that the way that societies and communities are articulated around energy and how, to multiple extents, it defines how they interact with one another is something that is like extremely relevant and that is also often forgotten.
What did you like best about the generator project? What was the highlight of your journey?
For me, being in Lithuania was the best part because I think it was really nice to see how all the things that we studied throughout the semester really coming to action and concretizing, especially in Visaginas. I think the experience we had there was really nice, and it sort of looked like the application of all the text that we had read.
Well, this is my first time being abroad, so visiting Europe for the first time was amazing, and being from the desert, I'm not used to seeing such lushness, so being able to walk among a forest and smelling the soil and being in that environment was wonderful.
What future you're imagining for Visaginas after this trip?
Yes, so I see them rebuilding homes, renovations, and redefining their identity and becoming more than a nuclear town. I see them being more of a, I don't know, that's for them to decide, but I want them to be more than just the power plant.
What surprised me is the architectural style, because I was living in a similar town in Belarus for quite some time, and the history about this town and Visaginas are really connected in the theme of with Soviet legacy created in different countries across the whole Soviet territory at that time, and that bringing me the memories of my childhood, of my teenage years, and how I was living in the similar conditions, but with a whole new kind of lens of identities.
Yeah, she doesn't want it to be.
That's what you said about the reputation. It was it may be better to just do it.
For me, I think the most interesting, intriguing thing is that 20th century reality, political reality, was in many ways made possible by energy systems.
When we started working on this project, I was very much interested in energy histories and energy futures, but in the course of the program, over the 6 meetings that we had online, and especially during the field visit, I feel that my interest in the topic has grown a lot, so now I'm interested in all the aspects.
And the current need of energy transition, or the currently discussed energy transition, would also change the political landscape of the world, or the way societies are organized politically. And I guess for me, that's the most important, the most interesting question. I like that we come from very different sides. So from the very beginning, the project was thought as multi-campus and multi-sited project, and I think we need a lot of efforts to translate our own experience to be comprehensible by people from elsewhere, from very different systems, political systems, economic systems, having quite different lifestyles perhaps. So I think this is something that is needed really globally now, so I would invest more effort, more energy into this kind of work.
Yeah, I really liked interacting with different students from different colleges because I've never really had an opportunity to speak with you guys from Europe and stuff like that, so that was really cool. And I also thought coming to Lithuania was cool because I probably wouldn't have come here on my own, and it was nice to see the city, and I also really was interested in in the nuclear power plant.
Well, I just growing up in different cities and going to international university, I've obviously met a lot of different people from different backgrounds here as well. And our online Zoom sessions, I knew from the beginning we were all from different universities, studying different topics and everything. But what I really enjoyed was meeting everybody, because I don't think you could fully understand somebody unless you sit down with them at dinner. Like get out of an academic environment and just speak, and I really enjoyed that.
I really liked the topic of speculative fiction and socio-technical imaginaries, because I study politics and literature, and it's technically two like opposite things, I guess, or like different disciplines. But then speculative fiction, or like the idea of how do we communicate these issues in like an artistic way, or like how to communicate science or the impacts on people, not just in like reports or policies and things that are not accessible to everyone. So I'm really interested in stories in that way.
The idea of being an accessible language, people of all ages could understand, and a fictional story could also connect with you a lot, and you could take a lot of themes, a lot of morals out of it, and you could interpret it in your own way rather than being told something, and just like bring it into the world in your own context.
I'm really interested in like climate issues, but we don't have a lot of classes, so much at least in the track that I'm studying. So I thought this would be a great opportunity to learn more about energy and the politics and infrastructures and more like specific knowledge.
I should be thinking about what we produce and how, where it comes from, because I guess modern people don't think about it. The most problematic issue for me discussing energy was, I guess, like just the very, very beginning point is just whether to decide for myself what is really right, what's correct. It's like, for example, is nuclear energy safe? Is it okay? Is it our future, or we should like definitely close it?
For me, the theme that I still like the most, and it's one that I introduced, it's very important to me, is the idea of socio-technical imaginaries. And so because I've been studying nuclear waste policy since 2005, and in the United States, it's very much a federal project. So how does a nation state at the federal level convince people at the local level that this is something they want to do? What kind of promises are they making? How are they containing the risks? And I love the idea in socio-technical imaginaries where the benefits are seen as limitless, as Jasanoff and Kim have said, but the risks are easily containable. And yet here we are, at least in the United States, 70 years later after we started producing nuclear waste, and we're no closer to the actual repository that's seen as necessary to actually continue this project. And yet we're still continuing to produce nuclear energy, nuclear weapons, radiological waste around our country, and still have no idea how we can actually find a way to make sure that future generations are safe from this.
I think that oftentimes people forget how energy can be like defining to people, and not only like how as an essential resource, but also to like to a point that it's like the articulator of their culture and lives. So how many like Soviet cities were like centered around energy production, and it's also the case with multiple atomic cities in the US, for example, and that's also the case like with some cities in Brazil that were built around oil refineries.
Twice bigger, and when you are moving, yeah, but normally we use.
Yeah, you can leave your message for the future generations. What would you tell them in that context of energy justice? And
yeah, it would be just be curious. Try to look at the other contexts that are very different from yours. Try to understand them. Try to translate your own experience or your own thoughts, your own attitudes to people from very different locations, very different cultures.
But I think the message is really we tried our best. We tried our best in the circumstances that we had. We made the inventions. We thought the technology would save us, and then we realized we have to save ourselves, and the technology will not do that for us. So I'm always very impressed by the difficult conversations that we're having, not just on the global or the national, but even just between people. We need to figure out ways to communicate better, and rather than have it be competitive, to be very much relational, not oppositional, but in accordance with each other. And that really requires the listening. So I hope that future generations can still listen to one another and find out new and better ways to make this something, a species that can actually last and thrive instead of just survive.
thanks a lot.
You're welcome. Thank you.